Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's the afternoon just about in India too now. So welcome to this event. This is the third in the Innovation and Tradition series that we have organised at Credit Suisse. For those of you who are new to it, let me explain a little bit about what this is. I am Sheil Kohli. I'm the head of corporate communications at Credit Suisse across the Asia Pacific region, and I sponsor this because the watchwords of innovation and tradition are actually core to what Credit Suisse's brand stands for. It's actually something that we have seen recur time and time again throughout our now 151-year history. We have a reputation in the market, a reputation that's been validated by our clients for being a truly innovative institution. But given the history of our institution, 151 years, we clearly are steeped in tradition as well. Those values, innovation and tradition, play very strongly to who we are. They also play very strongly to the minds of our clients, because they want to do business with an organisation that has those values inherent in it. You know, it's something that we also find recurs year after year after year. We are constantly producing innovative structures for our clients, innovative ideas, indeed innovative ways of engaging with our clients. And so it really is something that's core to who we are. But to really help us understand how important innovation and tradition is, we started this series to talk to people, some of whom have been within our organisation, but some, as in the case of today's speaker, outside of Credit Suisse, who have also driven their own businesses using these ideas as their watchwords. It really is a great honour for me today to introduce Mr. Po Chung. He is the now Chairman Emeritus of DHL Express Hong Kong Limited. I think you would be living on a different planet if you did not know what DHL is. It is truly the global courier service in the world. It is also the first ever global overnight courier service in the world. Mr. Po Chung was in fact the co-founder of DHL back in the 70s, 1972. When the business started, it started in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Honolulu in 1969, and then expanded to Guam, Seattle, and New York in 1970 and 71. In 72, it started operating in our part of the world, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Yokohama, the Philippines, Singapore, Jakarta, and then later to Australia and New Zealand in that year. That was 1972. It wasn't until 1983 or 84 that Federal Express decided to go outside the United States. It wasn't until 1986 that UPS decided to go international. So DHL is truly an innovator in this space, and given that it's been doing what it's been doing since 1972, I would think a company in its particular space that is also steeped with some tradition too. So I think we would learn a lot today from Mr. Po Chung. I think he's got a lot of experience. He has a fantastic story, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from him. So without any further ado from me, Mr. Po Chung.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed my honor and also my excitement to talk to this group. In many ways, DHL is a pure service company. We have a few cars, we have a few planes. Now, When we started, we had no planes, a few cars. In fact, the first couple of months, I had to take the bus and the ferry. You will hear that in my presentation later. We are actually both the bank and also the also DHL is very much asset is our people is our asset, and time is our competition. You may think that money is your asset, but your money actually doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your clients. And your company or your bank, really, your asset is your people. So I feel that very keen to explaining some of the things that DHL, that my story with DHL, you will find a lot of things that you can use from my presentation. My presentation will be divided into three parts. The first part is on the background of myself and DHL. We will cover that very quickly. The second part is about tradition and the tradition values. And the third part is about innovation. I will start with my background. I was born in Macau in 1943. I may not look like it, but I'm 65 years old, day after tomorrow. I fish on the Kolowan Island. Some of you may have been there in Macau for 2 years. I graduated from St. Stephen's College in Stanley in 1969. Then I went to the United States and I got my degree in fisheries. Actually, it says fisheries management. But the only thing that fisheries management has to do with business management is the word management. It has nothing to do with management. Then I came back to Hong Kong, became the operations manager of a toy company. They trained me and then promoted me to be the operations manager. And in 1972, I started DHL International. Later in my presentation, there's a longer story about that. I got married in 1974. I have one wife and 3 daughters. Yeah, some Chinese, well, anyway. In 1995, being an entrepreneur for over 30 some years, I felt that my role in a company has come to kind of a decline when the requirement of an entrepreneur, except I did leave a very strong entrepreneurial spirit in the company, but it was time for me to pass it on to professional managers. And then I decided that I will continue my entrepreneurial life outside of DHL. And then 6 years later, in 2001, the German Post Office decided to buy DHL completely. So before I was asset rich and cash poor, and in 2001, I cashed in. So I didn't cash in all of it. I believe I'm one of the largest individual shareholder of Deutsche Post. The rest of them, a lot of them are big institutional shareholders. Then I started a course in entrepreneurship with Hong Kong University. So I've been teaching entrepreneurship for the last 5 years. In 2003, I decided that I always wanted a master's degree, but I didn't want an MBA. So I changed one of the letters. I got my degrees in MFA. Is Master of Fine Arts. I paint. Then I started my foundations and started various things in social entrepreneurs and philanthropy, social enterprise and philanthropy. I also helped the Hong Kong government to instigate or started the Logistic Development Council, the Greater Pearl River Delta Business Council. KSPB is Center for Asian Entrepreneurship and Business Values at the University of Hong Kong. And that's where I teach. And also this is where we do research on entrepreneurship, but most importantly, business values.